peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on
Viewers, good morning. This morning I want to address the issue of Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. The legacy of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya keeps on moving, keeps on going forward and forward. Since the handshake in 2018 that brought about the peace, the tranquility, the unity of purpose, President Uhuru's star has been rising. All over Africa, people are thinking of using the model that Kenya used to stop any form of violence, chaos on the streets after elections. As you know, all of you are aware that elections in Africa produce two things: after or before or after the voting. Disputed elections, winner takes it all, loser doesn't accept the results. But the Kenyan model takes us miles and miles away from the normal type of democracy. The democracy, a negotiated format, a consensus format. A democracy that gives consensus a chance. A democracy that talks about the future of a country, the unity of a country, as opposed to a fragmented country, polarized country, where most African countries find themselves in. We have seen in the last 10 years or so, most of the elections in Africa have been contested by the opposition. Very few people in Africa, countries in Africa, where opposition has conceded defeat and come up to congratulate the winner. We have seen the South African model has worked very well. The Ghanaian model has worked so well. I don't see any other country in Africa where the models have worked well. I thought it would be Sierra Leone, but today we see Sierra Leone going back to the same ethnic tensions, as you can see from the reports that are circulating in the international media and the local media. So elections in Africa are contentious issues. They create a contentious position, create a departing point for the people of Africa, of that particular nation. The legacy of Uhuru Kenyatta, therefore, will be remembered for having brought the tranquility that we have today, the peace, the new format, the new tool of having a better organized civil Africa, an Africa without violence, an Africa without chaos after elections, when the opposition accepts to work for the interests of a nation, not personal interests. This has worked in Kenya, and thank you very much, Your Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, for the tenacity and the steadfastness that you have guided this handshake up to today. For those who want to mutilate the handshake, belittle the handshake, one lesson they should learn is to look at Libya. Libya was once a territory we all respected. It is no more. Let's keep the handshake and the legacy of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Thank you. In many parts of Africa, there is always a struggle for power. Struggles for power begin from the struggles for internal democratization of our parties or units where we belong when we come to power. The politics of compensational structure, the politics of deficit, the beginning from a deficit, that I had a deficit. I had a deficit before I was born, or when I was born. I found myself in a poor family. It's the politics of compensation that haunts Africa today. Many people want to take on leadership, but it's the leadership as a basis of where you came from, or the leadership has qualities.
My father bought me my first shoe in 1981 from a Mr. Onyango on the street for 60 shillings because he could not afford the butter shoes. Why am I saying this? Today, as you can see, the gentleman who did not have shoes is sitting at the high table. With the son of the founding father.
Sasa kama nitaambiwa naongea siasa, lakini I'm not, I promise. I have no such intention. But, you know, when you hear people out there, you know, they talk, oh, huyu mtu fulani, dynasty hii, sijui dynasty hii. It's not about that. Leadership is not about where you were born. It's not about where you came from. It's not about the color of your skin. It is not about your tribe. It is just about a desire to serve, a desire to do good, a desire to make a difference in the lives of people. And anybody can do that.
For a leader to be a leader, he must have qualities. Identify himself with qualities of good behavior, qualities of no corruption, qualities of no hatred, qualities of engagement, discussion with others, collective responsibility, listening to the people. These are the qualities. A leader who delivers does not need to have a background. A leader who delivers can deliver without a background of the rich or the poor. Many people in Africa seem to be misinterpreting that once you are born, you directed God to produce you in a particular family. None of us would have been where we are had we actually had a message from God where we would be born. I therefore look at this as compensational politics. Meritocracy is the answer. Meritocracy gives you the position that you yearn for. Meritocracy delivers you a position. Meritocracy gives you what you are doing for the people of Kenya or Uganda or whatever country where you are in Africa. But if you don't have these qualities, even if you are born from a family that had the whole world as theirs, then you cannot be a leader. It is therefore very important that the leaders who yearn to become leaders in Africa stop the usage of compensational politics. The politics that you want to compensate on others simply because you were poor, simply because you didn't go to a good school, simply because you don't drink in the same place where they drink, simply because you don't eat in that restaurant, simply because you don't have cars. That politics has got syndromes, traits of people who are either corrupt or have hatred or have a problem on itself. I therefore call upon you people to re-examine as Africans that wherever you come from, the background you come from, you are an African. You can deliver something for your country. You don't need to be able, you don't need to come to compensate for the lost past, because with such attitude, you will grab everything and your country will collapse. Thank you very much for listening.
Launching the BBI Task Force report. Makofi.
Your Excellency, I am very happy that the document, the recommendations and the proposals that have been put forward informs us on how to build institutions to get our politics away from personalities and ethnicities to institutions that will carry all of us irrespective of who we are, where we come from, the language we speak, or the political party we subscribe to.
Kusema ya kwamba pesa mingi ije mashinani, tunaunga mkono. Ipelekwe mpaka ifike kama kuanzia 35% kuelekea juu. Hiyo pesa itumike kwa mambo ya maendeleo, not for consumption. Recurrent expenditure should not be above 30%. 70% should go for development.
Ni kwa nini baada ya kila miaka mitano tunaenda miaka mitatu ya kazi, miaka ya 2 tunapoteza kwa sababu siasa imechacha? Tunataka tuulize wafanyabiashara wetu wenzetu, ni nini inawazuia? Ni nini tuwaweza kufanya ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba biashara zenu hazisimami? We must have development plans that are 20 years plus if we are to resolve our problems, my brothers and sisters. Tunataka tuwapatie assurance ya kwamba wanaweza kupatia wananchi mikopo ya miaka 10, miaka 15, kwa sababu they have confidence ya kwamba Kenya will be stable and Kenya will always have leadership, whoever it is.
Good morning, Africa. Good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television. This is Punchline Africa Television, the only Pan-African station that broadcasts, that talks about Africa, that defends Africa, that makes Africa, gives solutions to Africa. Good morning, Miriam.
Good morning to you, Dr. Matanga.
Thank you very much. Today we have changed the style of our presentation. We shall begin from here. Our topic this morning is the legacy trend and the legacy of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. We shall look at the headlines of what is taking place in Kenya, the Daily Nation, the Standard, and
of course the Star newspaper.
Yes.
Yes, and on the front pages, of course, is that press conference that yesterday the ODM legislators held in Nairobi that has really caused a storm, Doctor. Perhaps that will form the basis of our conversation this morning.
There is one thing that I've said, Miriam, and I continue saying it. Compensational politics. If you use compensational politics strategy, that because I did not have shoes at school, when I reach a level when I have shoes, I have to tell people how I got the shoes. Or I have to get more shoes. That's where the trouble of Africa begins. Most of us went to school without shoes, but we don't tell our people, wherever we are seated with white people. I did not know that I could sit with Tony Blair in Brighton Labour Conference, put up a hand, 15,000 delegates, and raise a point. Because I didn't have shoes. I grew up in a place where I was walking to school, not going by car. Over to you.
All right. Yes, indeed. And of course, this morning, our topic is the act of war. Impeach or not impeach, Doctor? I don't know. What is your thought on this? And just pegging on what you just mentioned, the compensation of politics that we've seen dominate a lot of political dynamics in this country. A person feels that now it is my time because you had, your father was this, or your mother was this, or your family had benefited maybe previously, or whatever it is. So now it is my time to eat. It is my time to take advantage of this position that I have, and so just pegging it. And I think the topic of the day is very appropriate because it is what is making headlines across all Kenyan newspapers and all the leading media houses here in the country, to impeach or not.
Or not to impeach.
Yes.
If I were the deputy president, I would coil my tail and run to the president to allow these accusations to flow on the floor of Parliament, to open up the Pandora box that is sealed with so many doubts. Maybe they are right, maybe they are not right. Miriam, I would rather, if I were the deputy president, I would just keep off and tell my people that don't go that route. Just listen to the accusations.
All right. So yesterday we saw Senate Minority Leader Mr. James Orengo, Senator James Orengo, as mobilizing a good number of legislators to support an impeachment motion against the DP for the gross misconduct. So these are just some of the accusations that are leveled against the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, that James Orengo is the one leading this brigade right now. They're saying one thing, one of the accusations was gross misconduct. The other one, they're accusing the DP of refusing to resign in the wake of corruption allegations against him. Another point, they're accusing him of openly castigating the institutions investigating graft as if he's not part of the government. And the other one, they accuse him of painting an image of a public officer not committed to side with the government's initiatives. And the other one, they are banking, of course, on the fake 40 billion arms deal and the killing of police officer. Now they claim that the DP should reveal what he knows about the killing of policeman Kipyegon Kenei. And of course, we saw, of course, the DP side, the members of parliament allied to the Deputy President, Mr. William Ruto, come out and give a rebuttal. But some of these accusations, Doctor, this morning, do they hold any grounds to impeach?
Some of them, yes, some of them are very serious. The DP on several occasions has told us it was not 21 billion, 7 billion were lost. this is going to come on Parliament on the floor. People want to discuss how he knew about the 7 billion and make calculation. If he doesn't convince the Parliament, you are now playing in the hands of your voters. You might have something to get from your voters if you kept quiet. But if you play this, we lost 763 to come to 21 billion. Then the DP went before the Chief Justice and all the judges and said there is no money lost. And every time everything has come out, the DP comes in to this, disapprove. The DCI arrests Waititu. He says Waititu is not a thief. The DCI arrests Sonko. His people are there to bail him. So there are so many things that are going to be brought, and you want to stop members of Parliament, whether from where or where they will speak about it. The more they spew it in the public, the more you lose credibility. Okay. You want to gain credibility. This is not as a developed state where you will be vindicated by accusations labeled against you. Here in Africa, an accusation, even when somebody has died like this, an accident of a car on the road, the people in Africa will say he was bewitched. He was bewitched. He did not die a natural death. Yes. And one of the things here we say gross misconduct. In this case, Deputy President William Ruto, what will constitute gross misconduct that will warrant his impeachment? Because this is one of the accusations that has been leveled against him. Insubordination of the president. He has insubordinated the president. He has not listened to the president. The president said, don't go for politics. He goes. He has now insubordinated institutions that are constituted by constitution. Orengo will catch you here. You are telling the DCI to shut up when something has happened in your office. Leave the DCI to do their job. Then they bring the report, you disagree with it, or your lawyers handle it. Why does he stop the DCI from investigation? What does he know? If this motion lands on the floor, believe me or not, you are not worth it. They will just tell you you are not. You can make your people fight, throw stones, but you will not. 2, there is something that the MPs yesterday put on the floor. Underworld. You heard that? He belongs to underworld operations. This is something we don't know. We have never heard this. You heard the MP, the man from the Machakos, when he was reading. That thing struck me. Underworld operations. Operations, mafia. That is the one thing that comes in my mind about underworld. Underworld. He feared the man, the Red Brigade of Italy. You know that. Don't allow this to come. If they come in the public and the public know that kumbe this was happening, at the moment he's not convicted. But if you come, what the MPs, whether they are 10 or 20, if they kind of sell this motion to the Parliament, they want to finish publicly. They want to publicly to finish Mr. Ruto, and they will do it if the motion, the way I have seen. I have analyzed the facts, and we shall go to the facts. So briefly. One of the accusations, of course, Mr. Rengo, leading his team yesterday, came out and said the DP has refused to resign, even after all, in the wake of a lot of allegations against him in regards to corruption. But the DP side has always argued that he's not been arraigned in court, he's not been charged. So these are just allegations which cannot be founded. That is the counter argument that the DP side has been making. So what corruption allegations are they able to prove in a court of law that a DP will... They don't need now. That will be after. They don't need. During the process. The MPs don't need to prove. They will come to convince the public opinion. MPs represent the people. They lay their ground. The ground of gross violation of provision of the Constitution or any other law. You think it cannot catch Ruto? It can. Let's be honest. The ground of gross violation of provision of the Constitution or any other law. Why do you open a Pandora box of things where you have violated? So many things have been violated.
So many things have been violated.
Where there are serious reason to believe that the deputy president has committed a crime under national or international law, or for gross misconduct.
That is in our constitution.
Yes, it is there. Anybody can come up and say there is gross misconduct. For example, the worst gross misconduct is for you to subject constitutional bodies to hammering, like the way you are subjecting the DCI and DPP, telling them there are people will want to know who is this deep state who want to kill you. You must come out and say who they are. You don't just make accusations and run. You must state there are people plotting to kill me. First, the president, the deputy president, is a member of the national security, the ANZAC, the highest body of security. He gets briefings. Why hasn't he taken these briefings today? Why? They will ask, the MPs will ask. And by the way, after the debate, which could take a week or 4 days, some of these MPs will not be in parliament. They will not come. They will fall sick. They will fall sick.
All right.
And I've seen this. They will fall sick. Some will fly to Mombasa to relax. Some will pretend to be burying people who have not died.
So there will be lack of quorum.
There is lack of quorum, and those who have been consistent will be consistent.
Will be consistent.
And not only lack of quorum, they also eat from all mouths.
So it will be difficult for them to take a stand.
Yes, there is no stand here.
Yes.
You are seen there the other night.
Because they've been doing a lot of things underhand.
For example, yesterday, a friend of mine passed through one of the pubs, one of the points that the MPs go. There were over 25 MPs, both from all sides. And each was buying a full bottle of brandy, which costs about 18,000 a bottle, 18,000. And they were laughing. They were laughing. This is the handout. These guys are depending on handouts. The crowd that you saw that came out is handout. It is handout today. If you are going to be seen, Miriam, not appearing on that store doorsteps, nobody will give you.
Nobody will give you the handout.
Yes. So, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto must, if I were him, I would coil
and go back.
Yes, and talk to my boss. There is one constitution. They can pick you out. There are so many things that they said. There is no co-president. There is a presidency.
Yes. The president and his deputy.
But you act on your own. If you have, the president has said no political rallies, you go and form political rallies. You call Moses Kuria, Ichungwa, Dindi Nyoro to insult the president.
That is insubordination.
They have got you.
Insubordination.
They have insubordination of the president. There you lose it out. They have been doing it every day. Forget about Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is not in parliament. He's not in parliament. He's not in government.
No, he's not.
And in fact, you see why I'm calling my Jubilee people that I call it a bluff. You know why? The whole accusation were labeled against Raila Odinga. This is where they have gone wrong. They got it wrong here. And that's why some of the MPs rushed to but now narrow down these accusations and make sure that, and then when they see the accusation touching the president, Mr. Ruto will look behind, will go Okonko way. Okonko.
There's something that, of course, the arms scandal, we've not forgotten about
yes.
that, and which brought up the death of Sergeant Kenei, which is still now under investigation. The DCI welcomed the help of the FBI to come, and because the FBI will be considered to be very neutral after the accusations the DP brought against the DCI and the DPP over the weekend. So I think the FBI will be a neutral body to investigate that matter.
Yes.
And our deputy president has been trying to distance himself from this arms scandal, that the meeting that happened in his office. Is it possible for him to wash his hands off this scandal, or this is?
Can you go and collect?
Him?
Can you conduct a meeting in Harambe House, the other side, not annex, and I walk in the president's office, the boardroom, and the president will be asked what happened. He say he doesn't know. Don't you see some things add up if it with natural sense without adding FBI
so this
or Colombo?
He cannot escape.
No.
He's been trying to distance himself.
No. And the more he distances himself, the more does this man watch Colombo? I advise the deputy president to watch Colombo films. Mm-hmm. You cannot distance yourself from the telephone contacts between the man who has died and whom he was calling to get permission are indicators. Mm-hmm. Whom was he calling for permission? Those will be retrieved if they have the capability. If they are not, the United States have we don't use our international backup system of the telephone uses Alcatel, which is from the server place, where the server nation called France. So it can be picked very easily.
Yes.
Kenya Telecom can pick it very easily and bring out the discussion, the last point of discussion. So if I were the DP, I would call it back and analyze and look in my office. Who is this? Who has brought me all this chaos? By now, heads should roll. There should be no sacred cow at all in that office. If you want to be a credible person, because the more this thing goes to the public, the more people will know the truth, which was hidden. And what the MPs are seeking to do is to bring you to the public gallery and the political gallery where you are seeking votes. They might not succeed with the impeachment. You might have the numbers in the parliament, but they have dissected you. They have dissected all your intestines, brought out the muscles, cut the ribs, cut the heart out. Political gallery, you can't be able
to the public gallery.
Yes.
So there's something that a group of Jubilee leaders led by MP Minor Commander asked DP Ruto and his allies to resign from their respective positions if they were uncomfortable with President Uhuru Kenyatta's quest to unify the country through his political pact with Mr. Odinga, as well as the ongoing war on graft. So specifically what I noted from that meeting and the press conference that Mr. Commander had, I think the same one, the impeachment meeting, he said DP Ruto is not joining the president in regards to President quest to unify the country. So if he cannot be part of the unification of this country, so there's no need for him to be in parliament. Is DP Ruto, in support of the unification of the country and the peace and the unity of this country, or I don't know, from what we've been seeing, what is your opinion on that? And should he resign under those grounds?
I think there is a problem here. Today I watched, you saw the MPs from the Rift Valley today. They were doing something very, very, very different from what the president told the governors. The president told the governors to go back. Whoever they said, president says, Raila Amolo Odinga is his co-partner on the BBI. Yeah. So when he is not there, Raila is there, it means he's represented. It doesn't mean that the president should come to Nakuru. No, he might not go to Nakuru. And I don't see any reason why the president should go to Nakuru when, in actual sense, the president has appointed a committee gazetted using executive powers and the state money. Then why do you go to interfere with their work?
Oh, the headline the other was it yesterday or the other day that got Kenyans really wondering what is it when President Uhuru Kenyatta showed his confidence in Mr. Raila leading the BBI process. Yes. Yeah,
because Raila can go because Raila is not the president. He's an ordinary person. And then another person can go. The deputy can go. In fact, if I was the deputy president, I would use this opportunity to cross over to Nakuru and now shake hand with Mr. Raila. And then from there, his politics of this impeachment will not be there, will fizzle out. Shake the hand there, let's greet the people and smile. You see, that's it. This is how politics is done. You cannot do politics alone and single-handedly and say you are going to be the winner, and you are the man of the town. You can't. You have to do something that other people are doing somewhere in a given place.
Okay. So just in case the process of impeachment should go further than the press conference that happened yesterday, the Star newspaper, page 5, just gives us a breakdown on how this process might look like. Just in a nutshell, process of impeaching Deputy President as per the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. The MP initiating the impeachment must be supported by at least a third of all the members, and if the motion gets 2/3, Speaker of the National Assembly informs Senate Speaker within 2 days, and then Speaker of the Senate shall convene a meeting of the Senate to hear the charges, and then Senate by resolution may appoint a special committee comprising of 11 of its members to investigate the matter. The committee reports within 10 days its findings on the allegations, and then the DP shall have the right to appear and be represented before the committee, and then if the allegations have not been substantiated, no further proceedings shall be taken. If substantiated, the Senate shall, after according the DP an opportunity to be heard, a vote of the impeachment charges. If at least 2/3 of all the members of the Senate vote to uphold any impeachment charge, the DP shall cease to hold office. Doctor, that is the process of, should it go further than the press conference you had yesterday, then that is what that process would look like. I don't know, Kenyans had very mixed feelings after that press conference yesterday, and they were wondering, is it too soon? This trying to impeach the deputy president in Kenya right now, because politics, and you've always said here in political science, timing is everything, and in politics itself, timing is everything. Is this the right time to start such a process as we are grappling with these other things and the BBI process and President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy? Will this affect everything else in consideration? Is this the right time for this impeachment?
It will, but necessity has no law. If your child drops in a pit latrine on Sunday, you don't wait until Monday. And I believe it will go on. There are facts that I wanted to bring to the fore. Fact number 1, that if this motion scrolls up to Parliament, the DP will lose. The numbers will not add. Fact number 2, the public must not be lulled by Moses Kuria. You know, if I were the DP, Moses Kuria, the noise Kuria makes, because he has an owner. Moses Kuria is the same one who got witnesses to go and fix deputy president in the ICC. Fact, and you allow him to be the one leading your motion of confidence. Now, National Assembly has a total of 349 MPs, members 290 elected from the constituencies, and 47 women elected from the counties, and 12 nominated representatives. Look at the cause. Who calls the shots? Look at that. The DP might be calling about 100 MPs. To be very honest, 100. Don't be lied. If the entire opposition of Kalonzo, Wetangula, Mudavadi, and Raila go, and then Uhuru Kenyatta picks from these ones, the crowd you saw on this paper here, these ones,
they can meet the 2/3 threshold.
No, yes,
okay.
These ones are Uhuru. So most of them, I've seen them here. If Uhuru stands up to speak, they will always go for him.
So when it comes to numbers, DP should not be very comfortable.
He has no numbers. I'm honest. If I'm wrong, Miriam, again we are here, you buy me chocolate. He has no numbers. He will not have the numbers. These people will roast him. They will not have the numbers.
All right.
Because McHugh's silence does not mean you are not working. The president has not spoken about this thing at all. President Uhuru Kenyatta has kept quiet. And that is where things are going wrong. You don't know what he thinks. You don't know what he might think. You don't know what he will do. So if you have Moses Kuria leading your brigade, you are like you are heading towards the hell. Because Moses Kuria is a man who can be tomorrow, even next week. You will find him having food with Raila and tell him that I was only telling this man they don't know politics. He will leave you. He's a man who wants money so much. I've known him since 2003 up to today. So for me, I would not have banked on Moses Kuria to spearhead a noble cause of this nature. Yes.
All right. So a lot.
And McHugh,
yes,
these MPs, not all of them were here. The ones that you see top of the standard were not here. And the two, these ones were in parliament. These were the only ones. Some of them came to show so that today they can also walk home with something. You know, today is paying day. Some places.
Okay.
Yes, payday.
All right.
Yes.
Payday on the 30th. Is it
of handout bundles.
in the middle of the month?
You need the bundles every week.
Not too bad. On 12th of in the middle of the month.
So thank you very much. To impeach or not to impeach? I think the question still remains. Miriam, I don't know what you say. Do we impeach?
To impeach or not to impeach? I don't know if it is the right time to do this right now, with all these things going on, with all this pegging on President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy and how hard he's been trying to make sure that he achieves some of this. Will it not distract from the whole process? Because this will become a whole distraction that might, I think, sideblind other things that are also important in the nation. But also, what has come out very clearly, according to our constitution, the vice president, he's supposed to be helping the president. So I think maybe the vice president might want to relook at his ambitions and really see what is it that he's supposed to be doing. His role as the vice president of the Republic of Kenya is to support the president, the cause that they both believed in. So he seemed to have gone off track of that. I think that is perhaps he's making President Uhuru Kenyatta very uncomfortable, and the people who are supporting his vision and what his goal and what he wants to achieve to Kenya. So perhaps DP Ruto needs to retract back and relook what is it that why he was even chosen to be the vice president of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and their working relations, and see how can he help his boss, because he's supposed to be helping. He is deputizing the president, and he should help the president on agenda number 4. BBI. They all campaigned. Together. Yes. But instead, he has taken a route of he has antagonized the president. He has isolated. He has collected all the bad people who were sent away from the president's office. By the way, before we go, can we think about all the bad things that have happened to the president, to the deputy president? They come from Itumbi in the group, and the group that was there is the one that has forged Facebook accounts that they impress you, that as if they are people from the Rift Valley. So he's fighting battles. Yes, don't even of people rejects that were rejected from State House, and at the same time thrown down to him, and he has taken them in. Kuria was a frequent visitor to State House, and the Kuria comes from the same constituency with the president. I don't think if the constituency chairman of Jubilee Party wants to bring Kuria to attention, Kuria will refuse to attend and go and face Kenyatta and say, I'm impeaching you. Can the deputy president see that? Is he seeing that? Or he's just, there is plenty of amnesia. When you are in power, and especially you have got this huge money, and the thinking of Julius Caesar dream of a comet. You saw Julius Caesar used to dream of comets. But when the comets arrived for 7 weeks, the beggar said, oh my God, sir, can I speak to you? Something strange. You remember? The Julius Caesar Shakespeare book, the death of Julius Caesar, things were like this. You don't know, you are old. The Minister of Agriculture is sacked. You take him on your side, and you are with him. He has been sacked from cabinet. Then you come to talk to the boss who sacked the minister. The Minister of Sports, you become buddies. A man whose record is not known and unknown, they will never be known. You bring him back to your office to use your backdoor office, results into a catastrophe of... By the way, I told you, Miriam, that there is nothing like fake arms in military terms. I wrote this article when I was in Netherlands in my hotel. Nicely, I had a nice drink the previous night, and I woke up at about 3 to write this article. I think you better have a look at it.
and see. And there is another article that I'm going to publish later on, or I'll publish a very nice. Have you read the book called Kumaro? Absalom Kumaro, Cry the Beloved Country. Cry my beloved country, by Alan Patton. I would like the Deputy President to visit that book and read that book, Alan Patton, Cry My Beloved Country, where Absalom Kumaro killed Javas. And then he thought he had got a very big, thing stand on Javas. So the scenario here is, don't become Absalom Kumaro. Cry.
And before we cry, there's a comment here by one of our viewer, Richard Rotich, who thinks I don't have the facts, and he's asking, should the deputy president support president even when in the wrong? So here's the thing: if you don't believe that this person no longer represents what,
then you resign.
That will be the noble thing.
Rotich, thank you very much for your comment. Don't attack her. I'm here.
It's okay.
I am here to defend her.
I know it's okay.
And I'm going to defend her. She was right. Let
me just respond to Rotich, and thank you so much for your comment.
We still have time.
So here's the thing: if the deputy president feels as though President Uhuru Kenyatta no longer represents his aspirations, whatever they campaign for, he feels is not the same thing that President Uhuru Kenyatta represents, or whatever ideas or issues he's trying to advance, he feels that are in opposition in what he wants, then I think the noble thing to do is to resign. I think you cannot insist on working on something you don't believe in. You cannot insist on working with somebody that you believe you cannot work together. You don't share the same dream. You don't share the same aspirations. I think the noble thing will be to resign. But since he cannot resign, or he has not resigned, and he's still the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, then I think the noble thing, as the presidency, the president and the deputy president, they're supposed to be working together in tandem for the greater good of the country. So if that has refused, I don't know if the center is holding anymore, because the center has not been holding. But perhaps he should go back and perhaps have conversations with his boss and try and see what is it that is the problem, and find a working relation moving forward. And if that is not possible, I think the noble thing would be for the deputy president to resign, which he has not done, and he has said he has no intentions to do. Therefore, perhaps he should, the two should relook at their working relation for the greater good of this country. So, Rotich, thank you so much for that comment, and yes, keep writing to us, and we shall continue to read your comments.
Yes, I will definitely stand by Miriam, and I will stand by what she has said, because there is nothing, there are facts here. Yes. You are not working together. You are not being seen. Murkomen the other day was saying the man has no work, all duties have been removed. Then why don't you just say, hello, I have a farm, I have a home, I have chicken, which might be about 20,000 or 50 or 1 million, maybe.
Maybe reach out to the president.
If he doesn't want to reach out, and when Julius Caesar was being told that Cassius and Brutus were plotting in the Senate to finish you, he said, nobody will finish me. So he might have that, he might not come. So he might not come, but if I were him, with such things you retreat. Like us, Liverpool, last night, we had a very bad night, and I slept at about 2 p.m. I could not sleep. I had to start writing. With Liverpool, we lost a match which has pained me, but we have agreed, we have consoled ourselves to move on. Liverpool, we move on. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of the first show. This morning, Good Morning Africa. Second, coming next is Miriam with Africa at
Diaspora Dispatches, where we have so much to look at.
To look at, and I'm here now today
to talk about
to break it down. But later on, don't miss, at 3 p.m. we shall have their diplomatic leaks. Do you know what has made me happy today? I told people that African Union was captured. People didn't listen.
We've been saying that for
my. The problem that has come there, the letters I received from there yesterday night, they consoled me. It is already taken.
So we shall have
It
that
is from,
decision.
yes.
Yes.
So we are talking about the African Union. Has it collapsed or captured?
I think both.
I think it's gone. It's useless.
Collapsed and captured.
Yeah, now the workers inside, the workers, the employees have written a letter to the world to say they cannot work with Mr. Mohammed Musa Faki. Is it Muhammad?
Muhammad.
Yes, I don't like that guy.
When is he supposed to?
This year it ends. Next year we must elect another one. But oh Jesus Christ, oh,
we still have a long
help
way to
us.
go. Yeah.
That is a man who has killed the African Union. He has not solved any problem. And here we are. Another interesting thing, Miriam, it looks like I'm more popular in Mogadishu.
Are you?
Yes. Is it? It is very popular. All the Mogadishu blogs are on David Matanga. I said the truth, Jermaine, don't kill me. The members of parliament are debating me in parliament.
Okay.
Have you seen their tweet? The tweet is very hot. Who is this guy? But I am a guy who is trying to save Africa, to say Somalia and Kenya must pull out the case from the ICJ.
And Doka, while you're trying to save this part of Africa, more sanctions are being slapped on some high-ranking officials in Zimbabwe. Have you seen Mr. Nkube, the U.S. Yesterday, and another also a minister, is it a diplomat? They've been sanctioned again. So the U.S. is not relenting on its sanctions in Zimbabwe.
Yes, the people of Zimbabwe, for example, we shall see in Africa, diaspora dispatches. Let's work out, let's make sure that these sanctions don't come. There are people who can reach Trump. Even there were people who reached Hitler. So don't think there are no people who can break Trump to change his heart. The biggest problem with Africa is that they pay money to white lobby groups. Yet the lobby groups just go and pay their salaries and pay their staff and pay some others to go and get another PhD on top of what they have. That's all when they get. Show me what Rainbagger's money did. South Sudan paid Rainbagger $1.3 million for lobby. Some of us had already got information that they wanted to take the leaders to a tribunal. And we informed them. Dr. Riakamacha, I told him that you are going to a tribunal, sir. Don't hesitate to sign. Rainbagger ate the money. South Sudan is begging for money when they had already paid $1.3 million to Rainbagger as a lobby.
All right.
All right. So thank you very much. Yes, so that's what we shall be doing every morning. And if there is any prayer that you can give us a prayer. We want to relax, to change.
All right.
To change the format of media.
Prayers.
Yes, prayer. We deserve prayer.
And Africa deserves a lot of prayers.
Yes, and especially AU deserves prayers.
AU needs disbanded.
And have you seen what Trump has done? He has banned all flights. So the world is at standstill.
The world is at standstill.
You can't steal anything in Europe.
Not quite.
Because everybody will be at home.
Yes.
Except my Britain. So only Britain that is allowed to fly. Yes, because the National Health Services of Britain, I told President Uhuru Kenyatta here on this show that if you want to do financial
benchmarking on health
and health, universal health care, go on the benchmark from the National Health Service of Britain. It's the best in the world. That's why Trump has said only planes from United Kingdom can land in the great empire of the American hegemony.
But New York is also on a lockdown right now.
It can be on a lockdown, but it won't stop our planes. British planes
will still land there.
Mr. Paris, no plane there. Air France, don't try.
Italy is on a lockdown.
Hey, Air Italiana, don't try.
Lasuba is saying he's praying for more cheese and chocolate. I don't know cheese for who, but I don't mind the chocolate. Mr.
He wants to do. I don't eat cheese. Let him take cheese to Farimajo.
More cheese and chocolate. All right, thank you.
More cheese to Farimajo. I am not a cheese man.
All right,
Mr. Farimajo called me he called me kafir. This Shuji kafir, big man, kafir, horror president. And my friends were seated with him in Villa, Somalia. They looked at him, they said, the man you are talking kafir with is not a man you defeat easily. Yes, he has forgotten. Now I am a debate in the parliament of Mogadishu.
Of Somalia. My
friends who know me from Streatham, from Croydon, the ones I've helped from Lambeth Council, from Croydon Council, from Streatham, from Penge, Crystal Palace. I've helped you to resettle. Time for you to help me to oust Mr. That one is a bit better, but there's the Casimiro one, the Prime Minister, very dangerous. The one who has sold the oil blocks. Thank you very much. God bless you. I am done.
All right.
Unless you...
No, I'm not done. I'll see you in the next few minutes. For
3 minutes?
Yes. For
as I take my tea and wait for your questions on Africa.
For the diaspora dispatches, we shall see you after the other side of the break.
Okay, thank you.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Fellow Africans, I took this petition to the court in order to stop any future usage of falsehood and false documents, procured witnesses of the Waki Commission. I took this petition to the court 4 years ago in order to make sure that the Chief Prosecutor of International Criminal Court does not use this evidence anytime in the future, whether tomorrow or 10 years to come, to refer to this evidence because the evidence was fake. It is with this dismay and with this courage that I took to go to court in Kenya to seek a judicial review and to redeem the credibility of both those accused and the victims of this catastrophe that occurred in Kenya, that I decided to seek to expunge this report from the reports and the statute books of Kenya. It is unfortunate that the 3 judges in Kenya, whom I will name now, Judge Kanyi Kimondo, Judge Aburil, and Judge Onyengo, all of them sat down and gave very silly, flimsy, prudish, sardonic ruling against our petition. I want to tell the Kenyans that I have done my best. I want to be on record that should this thing reappear again, don't call me. Should it reappear again, don't say I never told you. Should the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court use this fake evidence again against Kenyans, don't say I did not tell you. My role was to go and remove these obnoxious toxins from the books of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to tell the world that my torrid road, a long road that I've taken in search for this envelope, has ended in Kenya so far. But I want to announce that Kenya is not the only state party in international law. Kenya is not the only state party. I will in future, very soon, detail to you which other state party I'm going to seek this envelope to be expunged and to be made public to the people of the world. I want to thank you all. I want to tell you that a detailed document which is entitled My Long Road, Torrid Road to Work Envelope will be found on www.panafricanforumltd.com. You can read it, you can dissect, you can see the days, the long road, what I took, what I did, referenced, well documented, and may God help you that at one time somebody in Kenya will stand up to say thank you very much.
All right, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us. About 6 minutes past midday here in Nairobi, and now it is time for Diaspora Dispatches, where we get to look at the news making headlines across Africa. And with me is none other than my co-host, Dr. David Matsanga himself. Doctor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, and good morning wherever you are in Africa, north of Africa. You are still in the morning. West morning, South morning, Zimbabwe, Harare, my good country, the one I love, the one I admire, the resilience of those type of people in Zimbabwe, how they stand to fight. How are they? Will you tell us more? Thank you.
All right, so I'll just take us through some of the news items, and then later on in a short bit we shall come back, and then Doctor and I will try to dissect. And I have some questions, especially I'd like Doctor to answer in regards to some countries that we shall be going through. So if you can allow me your indulgence for a minute.
Yes.
So I'll just go through the news items. And we start with Zambia, where police in Zambia have arrested a teenager for insulting President Edgar Lungu on Facebook. Facebook. The 15-year-old boy has been charged with defamation of the president, which carries a maximum sentence of 3 years in jail. Police spokesperson Esther Gatondo accused him of creating a Facebook page using the name Zoom to publish defamatory or insulting statements about Mr. Lungu. The boy from Kapirim Poshi in Zambia Central Province is expected to appear in court soon. And we move to Zimbabwe, where the U.S. has imposed sanctions on 2 senior Zimbabwean politicians over human rights abuses. The U.S. Treasury Department accuses the Security Minister, Owen Ncube, of ordering the abduction and mistreatment of opposition supporters. Now, the former commander of Elite Army Unit, Anselm Sanyatwe, is accused of ordering troops to shoot protesters, including an incident in 2018 when 6 supporters of the opposition MDC were shot dead. Neither have commented on the allegations. The 2 men are already barred from entering the U.S. and will now have any U.S.-based assets frozen. And we go to Ethiopia, where international volunteers in Ethiopia offering free medical treatment in the Amara region have been attacked. Some residents in Shewa, where most people are Orthodox Christians, accused them of trying to convert patients to evangelical faith. And we move to Tanzania, where Tanzanians have so far raised about $100,000 to help pay a fine of $150,000 handed down to 9 opposition leaders found guilty of illegally holding a rally 2 years ago. At the rally, a female student died after being hit by a stray police bullet fired as officers tried to disperse the crowd. Political rallies were banned by President John Magufuli after he came to office in 2015. After their conviction on Tuesday, a campaign was started on Twitter to help raise the fund. And we go to Sudan, where a team from the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigations has arrived in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, to help with inquiries into a failed assassination attempt against the Prime Minister. Abdallah Hamdok's convoy was attacked with explosives and gunfire on Monday. It is not very clear who was behind the attack, and the arrival of the 3 U.S. investigations follows a call from the Sudanese authorities for foreign assistance. Mr. Hamdok, an economist, was appointed to the head of transitional government following the overthrowing of last April of the long-standing President Omar al-Bashir. And then we move to Burundi, where the United Nations Commission of Inquiry on Burundi has submitted its report to the UN Human Rights Council, warning that Burundi's coming elections could be compromised by increasing repression of political opponents, economic and social instability, and growing criminality. The UN Commission is appealing to the international community, especially to Burundi's neighboring states, to persuade the government to hold free and transparent elections, but the 3-member panel indicates there are few signs that that will happen. And still staying with Burundi, and the Burundian National Independent Electoral Commission has rejected 4 candidates out of the 10 who had filed for the May 20th presidential election, its chair said on Tuesday. While addressing the press in Bujumbura, Pierre Claver Kazihise explained that the 4 candidates were rejected because they did not meet the requirements set by the National Constitution on the Electoral Code and failed to give further information. Kazihise said the 4 candidates can appeal against the decision to the Constitutional Court within 2 days. On May 20th, Burundi will hold general elections that combine 3 polls, the presidential, legislative, and district council elections. And then we move to Sierra Leone, where former top Sierra Leone rebel Gibril Massaquoi has been arrested in Finland, according to Civitas Maxima, a Swiss organization that works to ensure justice for victims of war crimes. He is being held over alleged crimes committed in Liberia, which neighbors Sierra Leone between 1999 and 2003. Mr. Massaquoi, who was the spokesperson for the Sierra Leone Revolutionary United Front, is thought to have lived in Finland for the last 10 years. Civitas Maximas has confirmed the crimes he alleged to have committed include homicide, sexual violence, and the recruitment and use of child soldiers. And we go to Ethiopia again, where Ethiopia and Egypt have differed bitterly on the status of the negotiations on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, threatening the attainment of the ultimate solution. It began last Thursday after the Arab League endorsed Egypt's position and that negotiations has been finalized, and what remained was signatures on a draft that suggested Egypt's rightful water share would be sustained. And then we go to Malawi, where a prominent Malawian activist on Tuesday handed himself over to the police 2 days after authorities issued an arrest warrant against him following a call for anti-government protest later this month. And then we cross over to Guinea, where opposition supporters and security forces clashed yesterday yet again over fears that President Alpha Conde is trying to extend his rule for a third term. He recently postponed a planned referendum to amend the constitution, which would allow him to prolong his term in office. And then we go to South Sudan, where the army has denied reports that some of its soldiers are leaving WOW training center due to lack of food. On Tuesday, a soldier told the iRadio that they had been surviving on salt-flavored water for the last 2 weeks at WOW training center. The soldier, who requested anonymity, said 3,000 soldiers deserted the place. However, the SSPDF spokesperson, Major General Lul Roy Koang, describes the allegations as untrue. And then we go to some information from Biafra, and the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mr. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the other day berated Southeast governors for delaying the setting up of a security outfit to protect the people. The IPOB leader said the Southeast governors should not rely on the federal government to protect the people of Southeast and Biafrans in other states, expressing the dismay over the alleged letter by President Ohanize Ngibo to the Inspector General of Police, IGP, on alleged public display of the AK-47 assault rifles in Akwa, Anambra State. He, however, noted that the letter had vindicated IPOB that started raising the alarm of threats by the herders since 2012. And then we end up with Uganda, where now 5 more presidential aspirants, including a woman, have notified the Electoral Commission of intentions to consult head of nominations for the 2021 presidential race. This brings to 29 the total number of aspirants. While announcing the end of the display of voters registrar yesterday, Justice Simon Biabakama, the Electoral Commission's chairperson, told journalists that the new aspirants include Dr. Daniel Okello, Professor Godwin Sempemboa Katuwade, and Dr. Amir Kagumba, Dr. Dan Matiko, and Ms. Darlene Kamusime, the only woman daring to President Museveni. And that is the latest from across Africa this afternoon. Doctor, a lot of things I have, gone through there. I don't know what has caught your attention.
Let's start with Uganda.
Yes.
From there, where I'm born.
Yes.
I want to make it a disclaimer. I'm not part and parcel of the politics of Uganda. Neither will I take part in the politics of Uganda. Therefore, my comments are neutral. And they will be neutral. Because there's no politics there anyway. So there's no need of going to an election. You can even have 200 presidential candidates. The more they are, the worse the position becomes. That you will not win President Museveni, even if you are 200. This election is already won. Uganda election is finito, finished. You don't. The words are finished, you asked me to say. I don't know why people are wasting time. The election has been won already. There is no, this political party, to stand as a presidential candidate, you almost need 1 billion shillings. To do campaign for all these 300 and something districts, you need like almost 20 billion. Where will you get the money to run with a machinery state? People in Kenya talk about deeper state. There is deep, darker state.
It's beyond deep.
Yes, you can't manage them. Anybody trying to tell us that he's going to unseat President Museveni,
yes.
Where?
So now we have 29 aspirants.
Now that is even worse. 29 presidential aspirants against one man.
Against the deeper dark state.
The deeper dark. You know, the Kenya state is deep. The people are calling it deep state, but there is a deep darker state. Yes. Anybody who has studied the political science will agree that there are 4 categories of states in government. The outer state, the middle state, the narrow state, the deeper state, and the deeper, darker state. Those are there officially. For example, who knows the nuclear weapon buttons? There are not two people. It's only one. Who is that guy? Trump. Only one. In Korea, only one. In Russia, only one. In Britain, only one. Not even the prime minister. In Britain is by the Cobra. There is called the Cobra, something called Cobra. If you are not a member of the Cobra, you are not a deeper state dark. Yeah. Let's teach people politics because they wanasema iko deeper state, usijui nini. Hakuna. There is a darker one. So winning an election in Uganda is like going to the moon, and then while you are there, then the moon bursts into a hole. Then you start falling back
to the earth.
Yes.
It's dangerous.
So President Museveni has already won this election. I don't know why we are wasting the little money to conduct an election. After all, Plateau Republic never told us to conduct an election every 5 years. It only said free and fair contribution, pitting ambition against ambition is democratic. Are you pitting an ambition in Uganda? Which ambition? Who? Against who? Iwa jamaa hawa wanaleta vita kuwao, watu watapigwa kiboko bwerere. Watapigwa, people will be beaten for nothing. Me, I don't want to make any Ugandan suffer for me. Let time, loyalty, and the destiny put me. Time,
loyalty, and destiny.
If you don't have those, you don't have. Pray to Jesus Christ that you are lucky to survive. If you don't have time, loyalty, and destiny. One of the things that has kept me is time. Isn't it time to pay loyalty? Isn't it time to seek destiny? Time worked through everything. The people who are standing in Uganda today are the same guys who sang, thank you very much, Your Excellency. Oh, Your Excellency. Your Excellency. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, we like you so much, Your Excellency. Bob Wine, Excellency, Excellency.
Lead forever. And now they're tired of it.
Yes, bring this thing. One of these days we should do our anacut.
And unfiltered.
Anacut, uncensored. Excellency, we like you, Excellency. Excellency, we like you, Excellency. And you see, me, no, I've never sang that song. And I'm happy. I have destiny.
You've been consistent.
Yes. Yes.
With your loyalty.
Mom, you are now coming to the politics.
Okay.
That's what they call political science. And I like people who have studied the plants and the ecology. I never studied those. Those are subjects for people who are failures. Political science is a subject for men. Real men who want to lead the world. Yes. You know what Karl Marx says. You don't make mistakes. You know, people are joining politics for the sake of joining. Because you have got a big tummy like Matanga, you want to join politics. Or you have got a small, handsome body, you wear suits, coats every day, change it, is smartness. Politics needs people like Raila. You see, you can insult Raila, but he doesn't insult you. But when he comes out...
Battle hardened.
Yes, when Raila comes to insult you, you cry the whole lot. Oh,
just one package.
Oh, they want to kill me. If you're a head of state, a deputy head of state, and then you cry, you want to be killed. What about us who are useless small dogs? Me, Some of us are with nothing except God. God, Katonda wange nyamba. Help me, God. Have you seen? But if big people like the DP are crying, then what about us?
We're in trouble.
We are in big shape. Big one. Let's go.
All right, so let's go to, there's a matter here, I think I discussed the other day, Doctor, you were not around, this matter between Egypt and Ethiopia, the Grand Renaissance Dam, and now we saw last week on Thursday the Arab League coming out and supporting Egypt. I don't understand this intention of the Arab League, and should they be poking their noses everywhere, especially in Africa? Should they not leave some matters to African nations to solve within themselves? What is the intentions? Are they trying to start wars here in Africa while Middle East and the Arab world is burning? Are they trying to bring that fire over here in Africa? What is their portion here in the Egypt, Ethiopia, this disagreement on the Grand Renaissance, dam?
We have widened the religious Rubicons beyond the Rubicon itself. We have widened it. Look at everything the Arab League says. The Arab League has supported. Arab League supports Somalia.
They did.
They supported Djibouti. They support. So what is it? Us? Do we also go that way? Support Israel? No.
Sectarian support. Like
Yes,
that.
we have stood non-aligned on Israel and Palestine. Kenya, Uganda, and other countries are non-aligned. We support all of them. But now the Arab League is showing us that we are very naive. The question of Africa, what kills Africa, is that they run to United States for negotiations instead of going to African Union for constitutive measurements, like what has caused me trouble in Mogadishu, that I'm on the rather wanted line of Mogadishu. They want me dead or alive, because I have just spoken the truth about this.
So you're in trouble right now.
I am in trouble, yes. They know. They told me. My MPs who are in parliament there told me. They told me. Honestly, I've received serious information to that effect. But I will not stop talking, because my Ugandan troops are in Mogadishu. They will be killed if I don't speak. Nationalism will turn against Ugandans. They will pack and leave one day if we are not careful. If we start the way things are starting now, nationalism will turn on KDF and the UPDF. They will be told to leave. We don't need you. So the Arab League is causing us more untold suffering. The same time Turkey is coming to poke our nose. Qatar, they are bringing their warlordism. Warlordism.
What is the intention?
They come to Africa to export it here, to wash it here. That Lenin, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, Iran, and then you have Qatar. Qatar doesn't speak to UAE. They come to fight in Somalia.
The proxy wars here.
Yes, and they are doing it in Somalia. They are ready in Somaliland. UAE is in Somaliland paying projects, paying for toilets, for urine, everything.
All right, we've seen it. We've seen them, and I think that African Union should come up and speak with very strong terms. I'm just saying, because we are funding that institution, so it should come up, because this is a matter between two African countries, that is Egypt and Ethiopia. Sudan has been dragged into it, and, it's not really actively involved in this chaos. And then we saw the matter between Kenya and Somalia, which are two African countries which are having a misunderstanding and should be left to discuss this matter and find a solution on their own. So why the Arab League finds it important to come up and give its stand on anything and support Egypt in this regard, and also supported Somalia in this. I don't know what they're trying to tell the world, and I don't understand what the intention is, but I think they have enough fire to be trying to put off in the Arab world. So they should just leave us alone to solve our own problems. That is just what I feel the Arab League should be doing.
I think we have a problem. I can see my friend Joshua Sapa. My Maasai friend, thank you very much, Baba. Thank you very much for now coming here. You can discuss with other international intellectualism. Yes, don't discuss on petty grounds. Now you can bring your views here. Don't hate this station. It tells you the truth, or we tell you the truth. We have told you, tell Dr. Ruto to stop all these movements. Go back and tell his boss, I'm sorry. Otherwise, hiyo motion kukuja kwa floor kwisha. Yes. Arab League. Yes. They want to finish me.
Arab League was
yes. If you wait now, Djibouti, Kenya is seeking a place in Djibouti, in the United Nations
Security Council.
Security Council. Believe member. Me or not. And watch the lips. Okay. This morning I was counting with the somebody in the office of the Secretary General, because he went to sleep after losing the match with Liverpool. I started ringing United States. They were still early, and I found that we have. Hey, let me not say this. Let's leave it.
Let's leave it.
We are in a shock. The people carried Koinange. They took him there to play. Did you what? And these things. Why are we like this? Why? Koinange cannot convince even one single country or half a country
to support Kenya.
Apart from his voice. There's nothing he can even convince. No.
All right, so let's just jump into the new sanctions that the U.S. has imposed on two senior Zimbabwean politicians, namely the Security Minister Owen Ncube and also the elite army unit, the former commander Mr. Anselm Sanyatwe, who is being accused of ordering troops and to shoot protesters, including an incident in 2018, and 6 supporters of their opposition MDC were shot dead. So this incident happened in 2018. Why is the United States bringing it now, and this new sanctions on the senior security minister Mr. Owen Ncube? What will this mean to Zimbabwe as a country? What will this do to a country that is already on its knees?
First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the people of Zimbabwe for the resilience. They have stood firm. They have never waffled, and they will win. Sanctions don't hurt the leadership. They hurt the ordinary people. Zimbabwe must stand up, because almost everybody in the Mnangagwa government is going to be sanctioned. That is the preparation the paper have seen. We must stand up and defend them and help them to do a very serious PR. And meanwhile, as we were on air, Somali foreign minister arrived in Kenya just now.
Somali foreign minister?
Yes.
I saw that story earlier. I don't know why I did not capture it here.
The Somali foreign minister has arrived in Kenya as an advance party. And they held a meeting with the Kenyan counterpart and officials in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They held a meeting in Nairobi.
I think Ethiopia is the one mediating this process. I don't know, Doctor. I saw it somewhere. I think it escaped my attention. I did not have it here.
With Rachel Omamo and others. However, Uhuru had, despite the high death of Dr. who met Farimajo, Somalia Foreign Minister held bilateral talks with Kenya. The meeting of officials said was a follow-up. The two ministers' meeting has focused on bilateral relations. CS Omamo today held a bilateral one at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Kenyan team also said in a tweet, while no further details
was given.
In the agreement, Uhuru and Famajo also accepted to constitute a technical committees to address bilateral relations, Viras Somalia revealed. Yeah, but this no wonder now I am trending in Mogadishu. Have you seen the Mogadishu tweets? Can I read it for you? Because at times in Africa, I don't know why our production man has not brought the tweets in Mogadishu about Dr. Matsanga, but the tweets are real. They are worrying. Yes, one of them says, the MP, is Abdirizak Mohammed MP. You are becoming a menace on Twitter. That is what I think. Then this is they took, you know, the KBC is an international TV. Then this is my photograph. Then another one says, how about we talk about the man in the clip? You are a member of our August House of People. Is it true that this gentleman has 93 members of the MPs working at his behest in impeaching Faramijo? He is one of those 93. Now they are hitting each other. The lady woman, this is the woman that I helped. Now she says he's one of those guys talking about. Then they say, sorry, Honorable, some of us are circumstantially a menace. Wa isikia asaka doom. I know even in that language, don't worry.
He just spoke Somali there.
Hey.
Okay.
I have a Somali. Hey, oh my God. I have a Somali friend, yes.
All right. So I think that is very good development there. I think a diplomatic route.
Me, I was only trying. You see what I did? I wanted this to happen. I'm happy.
All right.
It has happened. The ministers have come, they have met. That is very good compared to Monica Juma's, meetings where they come out to write very damaging statements. This is very good diplomacy. And that's what Matsanga was fighting for. Don't kill me. Yes. I was helping Kenya out of this mess. And Somalia, they are now talking. This is very good.
I think if you can find an amicable solution for the two countries, that will be best for this region. That will be best for Kenya. That will be best for Somalia, because we are neighbors.
That is the meeting. There you are. That's the Somali foreign minister inside there in the middle.
This meeting happened yesterday.
Now, today, it is now.
Today. So they flown in yesterday.
Yes.
Into the country yesterday. That's very good.
They were everywhere, all over in some hotel. So they know me, I know them. So let's leave it there.
Okay.
That is Tom Omoro. That is Madame Omamo. Rachel Omamo. That's PS Macharia of Foreign Affairs.
And of course, this story we have been following, and we shall keep you up to date even as it unfolds. Remember, Somalia took Kenya to the International Court of Justice in 2014 over 15 disputed maritime blocks in the Indian Ocean. The place under dispute is around 100,000 kilometers, squared in the Indian Ocean. And so Kenya has been seeking an out-of-court settlement, just diplomacy, and Somalia has always insisted ICJ is the way to go. So I don't know this new move, how this will change the trajectory of this court. And of course, the hearing of the case is supposed to be starting in June. So will this change anything?
June where? No, I think there's something that I picked up from the wires. Somalia will agree to remove. You need Somalia to go and say we don't want to come, because Kenya is not going. If Kenya goes, it is sorry state. That case, there should be no ruling on it. Let them sit down like they are sitting down, agree. They can even bring people to drill the oil and they share the proceeds. If that is what they want. That's it. Don't take anything to that court. America is running away from those courts. You are going there. You are a country without a developing country. You are going to that court? No. No way. Thank you. Next.
All right, next is Burundi, and this new development is that the United Nations Commission of Inquiry on Burundi has submitted its report to the United Nations Human Rights Council, warning that Burundi's coming elections, that is slated to take place in May, could be compromised by increasing repression of political opponents, economic and social instability, and growing criminality. Are they trying to come for Nkurunziza, or what is really happening here in Burundi? Because Dr. early in the year, and Nkurunziza said he's not running for a re-election come May, and he was given a very enough package for him to leave the office. But now we see the United Nations. Are they on his case, or what is happening with this United Nations human rights inquiry that has been happening on Burundi?
They can push it, but without France. The French are on the side of Nkurunziza. They won't go far. That's all the answer.
That's all the answer.
Yes.
So
don't bother about it.
All right.
Yeah.
So there has been some claims there in cantonment areas, the army cantonment areas in South Sudan, that the army officials have been going without food, have been very hungry, no blankets, nothing. So apparently some soldiers have been living on salt and water. Can you imagine that?
Hey.
And they have guns. You tell me how these people will not turn into thugs and start militia activities in the
Can we give the people of South Sudan support?
Yes.
Support in South Sudan, give them food, give them blankets, give them any money. Any amount of money can help South Sudan to grow. Thank you very much, people. Please, we have done enough. We have got the ink on paper. The pen assigned. Give them support. Let's give them support 100%. They need that cash. They need everything, every prayer. Let's not these soldiers go out to rampage the villages.
So they might.
Yeah.
All right. And so a team from the US, FBI, has arrived in Khartoum to try to inquire about a failed assassination attempt against Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok. I think, Doctor, you talked about this even after the ousting of President Omar al-Bashir and the continued, protesting in the streets of Khartoum. And you said at some point there are remnants or some people who are loyal to Omar al-Bashir who might try to start another coup or something of the sort. And now we see this attempted assassination that befell with the Prime Minister. Thank goodness he was not part of that meeting that day. But who could be behind this? What is happening in
the
Sudan?
darker state?
The darker state.
There is deep and darker state. The darker state in Khartoum is going to destabilize that country. You can't ban, you can't overthrow the government, then ban his party, which has been there for 30 years, ban it, deregister it.
Yeah, deregister it. Get
rid of it.
Completely.
And then you are the Prime Minister because you hate the party. It is the Prime Minister bringing the army the problem. And the earlier, my friend Duglo changes his tactics, the better. This thing of bring FBI, what will FBI what? The people are there. These people who want to kill that guy, they are there because you deregistered their party. And then too, you are now talking of handing over their leader. You have deregistered their party, killed them, imprisoned them, sacked them from places, no alternative jobs. Sudan should handle reconciliation very quickly. Very quickly. If Sudan does not handle reconciliation, we are dead.
A true reconciliation.
True reconciliation is needed. You have overthrown Bashir, but Bashir had people in 30 years. Handle them properly, bring them together, let them be united to build a better Sudan. But this Prime Minister is saying, the Prime Minister here is saying he doesn't like those people completely who were in. Why Museveni got a problem? From 1985, Museveni realized later there was need to incorporate these other tribes. He went for them. The NRA, when it took power in Kampala in 1986, went for any black face. Any. I don't think you would have escaped if you were in Uganda. You would have gone. Black chocolate. They cut them to say, everybody, including this one here. I survived. Because they said anybody who was in Obote government must be killed. Must be put in it. This, that policy backfired. Until President Museveni later on realized that he was being isolated. He changed the strategy and tried to embrace everybody. So the leaders in Sudan, you have overthrown Bashir. You have put him in jail. You have sentenced him to a baby's home, or big man's home.
Old people.
Old people's home. Yes. Now leave his supporters, call upon them to come to take part in the national building instead of national dismembering of a state.
Yeah, I think, Doctor, on that, I totally support your sentiments there, because we've seen what after this, the new, government now led by Abdallah Hamdok, the Prime Minister, of course, and the military there, what they've been doing is, looks like very vengeful, going after. We've seen them disband, close down some TV stations that seems to be allied to the former President Omar al-Bashir.
Because he's working on American instructions.
We've seen them ban the party.
The worst part is to have a prime minister like that, like the one in Mogadishu. The one in Mogadishu works on instructions of Norway. Norway gives him instructions. We want this oil. How much money do you want? We shall pay, don't worry. In fact, Somalia is a product, is a commodity. Did you know that? Somalia is a commodity that can be bought. If you have $400 million, you can buy Somalia leadership. That's why Norway is paying 356 million euros for a commodity, a nation. So Africa should avoid those pitfalls. The regime in Khartoum is being controlled by outside Dhaka states. Dhaka state, not deeper state. Dhaka ones. There is one state beyond the deep. It's dark. Ujui, it is a mirage state. You will never see it.
You'll never know who's behind.
But it comes to strike you.
Okay. And also adding on top there, they came out and said that now they'll be willing to hand over Omar al-Bashir to the ICC. So what is seen now to be happening in this new leadership in Sudan, that a lot of Sudanese thought will mark perhaps a beginning, because there seems to be doing what Mr. Bashir used to do. If you don't agree with him, then he's going to punish you. He'll shut down the newspaper, he'll shut down the television station, he'll ban whatever. So we're seeing it is a reversed role. So I don't know if this will work well with the new leadership there in Sudan, but also you mentioned their reconciliatory tone. We don't see. Could this be perhaps after? Maybe they should, run away from this vengeful attitude that we see in this leadership, and seek to unite the people of Sudan and stop doing the same things that Omar al-Bashir was doing to them. Now they're doing it's a reverse role, and I don't know how this will help the people of Sudan.
It can't help. It can't move. It will not work. I will take a responsibility to call General Duklo again and tell him it can't work. Embrace healing, embrace unity. Look at President Uhuru Kenyatta. He embraced Raila Odinga. We had running battles where people removed vests. Even brought dogs. I have never seen a big dog. There is one man who brought a big dog like this.
A big German Shepherd.
Yes.
Yes.
He had that picture of a big dog.
Well fed.
Well fed, and the dog never ran away from tear gas. Dogs are very clever. They close the eyes.
I'm not a dog lover. I love them from a distance. So I've never really studied their behavior. I'm not a pet person at all.
So these are some of the things, Miriam, she is, yes. So
it's okay.
Mr. Bitoro, is there a problem?
Thank you for joining.
She has always been.
It's just a compliment.
Yes, but
I receive it. Thank you. I have to.
She has got an advocate here today.
Doctor is on guard.
On guard, yes. Thank you very much. Good morning, Africa. Good afternoon, Africa, wherever you are. This diaspora dispatches.
Yes.
I need to leave the studio.
No, before you leave the studio,
yes,
we need to dispatch something here in Malawi.
Oh.
The elections, we've seen there's some protests happening there in Malawi, and they're set to go to another election after the one that was nullified earlier in February, on February 3rd in particular, the win that President Peter Mutharika won last year in May. So the new elections are set to be happening on the 20th of May again this year, and we've seen a lot of protests happening. And what really is astounding to me is that the same electoral commission that messed up these elections are the ones who are supposed to be presiding over. What kind of madness is this?
Total madness.
The same people who were even taken to court.
Total madness. Do you know one of the countries that has already been captured by George Soros? Malawi. There is no Malawi anymore. It's George Soros and the surrogates of NGO. Mutharika, a good guy, a nationalist. We've lost that country to George Soros. Why? There is no Malawian you find on a plane who will tell you where you come to Malawi to do business. Even the business in Malawi is linked to NGO. He has got a rucksack. You know, this one, they carry NGO, a pair of socks, shoes, and underpants. They dress a shirt for tomorrow like inakunjwa namna hivi, and a trouser. They are running a kuro coat. A kuro coat doesn't have a nice briefcase like this one of mine, because he's always running with that thing there. He behaves like a wazungu. Malawians behave like a bazungu. Everything is NGO. They have been captured, and the spirit is not going away in a good way. Put your two eyes, time, loyalty, destiny. Between tatu. Kama hiyo imekukata, if the three refuse in your country, go and resign and go to your farm in Sungoi or wherever. Ingia farming na kuku na nini, jaza mayai. Nataka kula mayai. People need eggs before this thing come. You know this thing corona is coronaized.
So we need enough eggs.
Yes.
Before corona.
Corona has become coronized. In Uganda they call it corono. They are calling it corono. Don't come near me, there is corono.
It's corona.
Yeah, the Ugandans know that word. Museveni has now said all. Hey, you didn't read Uganda news. If Trump closes the entire airspace of United States, what about we smaller countries? Remember Matanga, my article I wrote? You remember that article? Miriam, always pick it up. I said, how prepared are we? Some news have just come in. Hey, I keep on receiving this.
The breaking news. Is it on a developing story?
The NISS says it intercepts a global arms smugglers network shipping 2 containers of arms to Ethiopia. There you are, via Djibouti.
To Ethiopia via Djibouti.
Yes.
And you know, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Somalia have been working on a peaceful something. The three countries have been working together to a lasting peace solution in that part of the world. So Djibouti, Somalia, and Ethiopia, and now arms have been intercepted going to Ethiopia via Djibouti. So is this a coming together of evil, or what is really happening? That coalition up there.
It was going into Djibouti, into Ethiopia via Djibouti.
So,
You know, there is one thing I told Mr. Dr. Abe.
so are they illegal, or they were coming in? Were they coming in legally, or?
This man here is my friend for a long time. He was there during the now he's one of my friends. But I've told him all the time, you made a very big mistake of shaking the hand of a Faki, that guy over Eritrea. So where were these arms going? You know, Ethiopia will fragment and fall like a glasses that has broken. Because it's a loose devolution type of loose states. So there you are, they have just come in now, they have intercepted. Anything else?
All right, not quite, except for that teenager who apparently has been arrested in Zambia after, insulting President Edgar Lungu on Facebook. Now the 15-year-old boy has been charged with defamation of the president, which carries a maximum sentence of 3 years in jail. So the boy from Kapirimposhi in Zambia Central Province is expected to appear in court very soon. It's just a 15-year-old being silly on Facebook. Do you have to jail? Take a 15-year-old to court? Just take him to some.
And he has the same name called Rungu.
I think he was acting on a pseudo account on Facebook. A 15-year-old. Why are you wasting time taking a 15-year-old to jail? Just take him to give him some mentorship. Somebody to just I don't know. Zambia, President Lungu there seems to be having a lot of time in his hand. I don't think that is even a 15-year-old now is facing 3 years in jail. Get him a mentor, somebody who could teach him right, because it appears the parents are not doing quite a good job. It's just a case of indiscipline. I don't think a 15-year-old deserves even to be taken to court. He's juvenile.
Yes, juvenile. Thank you very much, Miriam. I don't know, over to you. Have I finished the job?
I think we have.
So you can as well dismiss me.
All right.
And we wait at 3 p.m. East African Standard Time. We shall have our diplomatic leaks. We shall now be talking about African Union. Has it been captured or collapsed? A letter that came out from there, written, published everywhere. We shall put that letter here, and I will bring the reports, the 4 reports that corroborate exactly what I wrote. And the African leaders did not listen to me. So Dr. Matanga has got this thing of saying, I told you. And I always go to these people's eyes. I said, didn't I tell you? I told you.
You've been telling them.
Yes. So workers in the African Union are up in the arms. They are crying for international help. They are crying for police, international police to come in. The working conditions in AU are done. Things have broken down. AU has been sold to the highest bidder.
Things fall apart.
Yes. The center cannot hold.
The center cannot hold.
So 3 p.m. East African Standard Time, watch the space as we deliver.
Dissect. The Sikh leader of Africa in the name of African Union, has it fallen apart, or has it?
Which one?
The AU. It's
the
Sikh leader of
Africa.
It's
a Sikh. AU worked a bit when Madame Zuma was there. She tried to make something. She put some institutions within AU. When this tall man from Chad arrived on the scene, aliua kila kitu. The guy killed everything. So we shall discuss him, plus my intelligence reports that I wrote, which caused me a lot of trouble. They even banned me. They said I should not ever attend AU, my building that I built, the building that I've been attending AU since 1986, when it was OAU. They told me I should not even, I can go to Ethiopia, but not near the building, because the chairperson doesn't like my alternative views. Now,
alternative views.
Yes, things have cropped from inside.
So you were banished the way they banished the former emir of Kano. You remember that story? That
Yes.
in Nigeria.
They told me I should not even, because I said there are people tapping the telephones of our presidents. When all presidents of Africa go to AU, their telephones are tapped by France. So when I said this, they came for me. I am lucky. One of my friends is on the run. They want to kill him. Yeah. So now, thanks God. God, thank you. You don't always forget me, this man here. You have always been there for me. He has brought a letter now from the workers. They said the AAA condition is, you want a job, you have to give sex. Woo! Don't go away. 3 p.m. East African Standard Time. Over to you, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's meet here at 3 p.m. to look at and dissect and look at what's really happening in AU and that letter, the latest there from the African Union about the workers there expressing their discontent. And I hope that you make.
And Mr. Busoro. Butoro. Mr. Butoro, please.
Bitoro, James Bitoro, thank
James
you.
Bitoro, please.
It's okay. He did not mean any harm, James. I understand what you're saying. That's okay. We'll see. Please
Miriam, you are the one bringing these
please
things
come back
here.
at 3 p.m. He's just
You know,
being
Bitoro
kind.
is a Ugandan.
He's just being kind. And
He's a Ugandan.
And I received that, Bitoro. So let's just meet here at 3 p.m. Dr. Mans, and stop starting problems where there is none. We have enough fires to put, off here in Africa. So let's not start another one. We see you at 3 p.m.
What about this story?
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.